What's up, guys? Winter Kills here, coming at you again with another late night video. I know I've been behind past couple days. I know yesterday's video went up late and today's video is gonna have to go up late as well. I'm going to actually YCS Niagara tomorrow, so wish me luck. I'll be taking my pure mech knights. Been putting a lot of testing and effort into that deck, so hopefully I do okay. At least if I can take no more than 3 losses in day 1, I'd be very happy with that. So but yeah, it's been a long day. I had so much stuff to do and haven't had time to get any videos out, so I might stay up a little bit later to get one more video ready for you guys for tomorrow. Probably be the Crusadia Mech Knight deck profile. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about here in this episode of featured archetype, the AtIgnister archetype. I'm probably a bit behind on this, and I do apologize for that. Some of you guys probably already seen this stuff, but I wanted to cover it because this is something I personally wanted to take the time and look at, because I think this archetype, at least it seems like it has a lot of potential. It seems like there's a lot of hype around the AtIgnister stuff. I know a few weeks back when we got revealed the YCS monster, the only YCS monster, that it seemed pretty decent and it could show some promise for the rest of the archetype. But now they have a whole slew of other monsters you can see here in the main deck. And they have like some spells, a lot of monsters, a ritual, and then links, the YCS, a synchro, and a fusion. So the only thing they're missing essentially is a pendulum monster, which they don't need a pendulum monster at this point, it looks like. But they have, looks like, one of every attribute of monster as well: light, dark, wind, fire, water, and earth. And the Leviathan here is a water as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these cards here. First up, we have the Picari AtIgnister. So all the main deck monsters here that aren't, other types of, they're just regular effect monsters. We have Picari AtIgnister, Doyan AtIgnister, Baruru AtIgnister, Achichi AtIgnister, Hiari AtIgnister, and Doshin AtIgnister. So they all look very weird. But anyways, let's take a look at the first one here. 1200 attack, 600 defense, a Cyber's archetype. So get your Cyanite minings ready, boys. Want to play this deck? I don't know if you'll actually need it in this deck, depending how good the built-in search power is, but it looks so far like this is something you could play in. Cyanite mining could be put in here. But if this card is normal or special summoned, okay, that's a good clause, normal or special summoned, you can add 1 AI spell trap from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 AtIgnister monster you control as cost. It becomes level 4 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Picari AtIgnister once per turn. So if it's normal special summon, you get to add a AI spell or trap from your deck to your hand. It also has another effect where you can target an AtIgnister monster you control, and it basically becomes level 4. So this, I could see this combined with any other AtIgnister card. I mean, it gets you a free search of a spell or trap. There is no trap, ironically enough, unless I missed it when searching for this stuff, but I always find it weird that it seems like decks nowadays, at least for the most part, I mean, some new archetypes and strategies that have come out have good trap support, but for the most part, it seems like the traps are always the most lackluster thing, and it seems like they always just give the deck its counter trap. You know, your Orcus Babel, your Rivaled Fists, the Tenyi or whatever. Like, the deck gets its counter trap, it gets its negate, things like that. It's searchable, settable, negate, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, Marincess Wave is a perfect example. That was one card that it makes it so you actually need and want to play traps in the deck again, in main decks, I guess, because I feel like traps have sort of fallen off. Regular traps cards that aren't like impermanence and evenly matched, but I digress. So this card seems pretty standard, pretty good for the archetype overall. I mean, seems like it has a decent effect, maybe 2 or 3 of, depending on how good the other spells and traps are, or spells, I should say. But then we have Doyan, 400 attack, 1600 defense, level 4, Dark, Cyberse. If this card is normal or special summon, target an AtIgnister monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of a Cyberse monster, you can target 1 AA spell trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So this one has some graveyard recursion, and also has more recursion for spells and traps if it is sent to the graveyard for a link summon of a Cyberse monster. So any Cyberse monster does not have to be a AtIgnister monster, which seems pretty key, because this will allow, seems like we might see some things be splashable, like maybe we'll see some splashability. Depends how much we see the word AI put in quotes in all these text boxes here, but so far, I mean, I think this one probably seems like a one of at most. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one AtIgnister monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a Cybers monster, you can target one monster in the graveyard that was used as material for that synchro summon except itself. Special summon it. You can only use this effect of Baruru AtIgnister once per turn. So level 6, Cybers Tuner, level 3. Okay, we got a tuner going on here. Okay. They've got their tuner monster. And if it's normal special, it Foolish Burials any AtIgnister monster. So far I haven't seen any get its effect just based on hitting the graveyard. Level manipulation here. This has graveyard recursion and gets effects bad enough if it's if it's used as link material. This is getting effects if it's used as synchro material. This one, let's see here. This is the Achichi, 800 attack and 800 defense. Cybers Fire. If this card is also level 2, keep in mind, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one level 4 or lower AtIgnister monster from your deck to your hand except itself at the start of the damage step. If your Cybers monster battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard as cost, destroy that monster you control. You can only use each effect of Achichi AtIgnister once per turn, so a little bit of a weird battle phase, damage step sort of manipulation here of just if your Cybers monster battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy that monster you control. So this blows up your own Cybers monsters, which there's probably some synergy, I imagine, when we look at some of the extra deck things, but we'll have to take a look sooner than later. So that one seems okay. If you control, I mean, the thing I like about this one, if it's normal special, you get to add any level 4 or lower AtIgnister. So, Searcher for AtIgnister monsters, Searcher for spells and traps, and this one is also a Foolish Burial. So far, they're covering all the basics of basic starter cards, I guess. So far, so good. Then we have the level 1 Water. If you control an AtIgnister monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You contribute one other Cybers monster. Add one level 5 or higher AtIgnister monster from your deck to your hand. And if you do, this card's level becomes 4 until the end of the turn. Then if you tributed a link monster to activate this effect, if you tributed a linked monster to activate this effect, you can also add one AI's ritual from your deck to your hand. Okay, so when AtIgnister monster, you can special this card from your hand. You can tribute one other Cybers monster. Okay, so if you tribute a link monster off, and we've got 3 link monsters here to work with, you get to search the level 5 or higher AtIgnister monster, and you get to also its level becomes 4, and then if you tributed a link, you get to add the AI's ritual. So it looks like if you're tributing a Cybers link monster, you get to add this and this. So you basically set yourself up with a free ritual summon, and this also becomes level 4, which is nice. Then we have the Doshin AtIgnister, 100 attack, 800 defense, level 1. So we have 2 level 1s, a level 2, 3, and 2 level 4s. If you control an AtIgnister monster, you can special this card from your hand. You can target one Cybers Link monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, add one AI Love Fusion from your deck to your hand. Then we use each of both each effective Doshin AtIgnister once per turn. So these guys seem like decent extenders. Looks like the first line of their text is exactly the same. If you control an AtIgnister monster, you can just special summon it from your hand. Same thing here. So that these guys seem like decent extenders, and whereas these guys here seem like really good starters for the deck for the most part. Getting to add a spell, getting to Foolish Burial. Again, this thing doesn't seem like it's that great turn 1, unless, I don't know, you can get some sort of follow-up with a decent play started without using your normal. We'll see what the spells and traps do, I guess. Then we have the Water Leviathan AtIgnister. This card, it looks pretty cool because it looks like a Mermail card, but it's sadly not. It's not a Sea Serpent. It's a Cybers, but it is a level 7 with 2300 attack, 2000 defense. Cybers Ritual effect. You can ritual summon this card with AI's Ritual. If this card is ritual summon, you can return all monsters your opponent controls with 2300 less attack to the hand. That seems very, very good. Doesn't get rid of that pesky Colossus, though, unfortunately. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, return all link monsters from the graveyard to the extra deck, and if you do, change the targeted monster's attack to 0. You can only use the effect of Water Leviathan AtIgnister once per turn, once per battle. During damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster quick effect, you can have that opponent's monster attack during that damage calculation only. This thing does a lot. I don't know how good in practice it will be, but it's a ritual, which makes me a bit skeptical, but we'll have to look at the ritual, the ritual spell and any other, spell cards and what they do. Because we know Hayari here, basically you can just special out on the field if you've already got a link play set up, and then you just tribute away the link monster, add the Leviathan, and also if it was link, you get to add a ritual spell. So that sets you up immediately. And it also becomes level 4, which puts you pretty close to getting to that level 7 mark that you need to hit to be able to summon Leviathan. So I think that's pretty good right off the bat. Then moving forward here, we have the AI Love Fusion, which I believe this is the card that lets you add it. Yeah. You target one Cyberus Link monster in your graveyard, return to the extra deck, and if you do, add an AI Love Fusion. So this card can search this if you recycle a Link monster. A lot of resource recycling, especially with this card. Fusion summon one Cyberus Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. So we don't have a Shaddoll Fusion here, that's okay. If you use your AtIgnister monster as fusion material, you can also use up to one Link monster your opponent controls as material. Okay, someone say built-in super polymerization. This reminds me of Fusion of Fire as well, being able to use any Link monster, period. Removal by fusion summon is starting to become a very good thing because we're having so many monsters that can be targeted, they can protect themselves from battle and card effect destruction. Like, it's almost needed, I guess, for an archetype like this, depending on how, good it will be upon inception. But if you use your AtIgnister monster as fusion material, you can use one Link monster your opponent controls. So if you get to use any AtIgnister monster you control, you get to also use a Link monster your opponent controls. This card seems very bad going first, obviously. Maybe this will be a going second deck. I have no idea. And it seems like it would be a going second deck, so you at least get value out of your Leviathan. But anyways, we'll go on to the AI's Ritual, the card that is searchable off the Hayari. This card can be used to ritual summon any Cyberus Ritual monster. Okay, you must also attribute AtIgnister monsters from your hand or field with total level equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. If you control an AtIgnister monster at activation, you can also banish AtIgnister monsters from your graveyard. Okay, so it kind of gives you that Necros Mirror feel. If you're using an AtIgnister monster, if you control an AtIgnister monster at activation, you can banish from grave as well, so you don't have to use things from your hand or field. You can use spent resources in your graveyard. So that seems pretty clutch, especially when thinking about this card here. This is your Foolish Burial, so this can help set up that AI's Ritual card. So you can, normal this, dump something to the graveyard, special this, and make some plays happen, maybe make a Link play or whatever. So far putting some of the pieces together here. Then we have TAI Strike. Interesting. We have a quick play here. So we have a normal, a ritual, and a quick play. During damage calculation, if your monster battles an opponent's monster, your battling monster's attack becomes equal to the attack of the opponent's monster it is battling during that damage calculation only. Also, the controller of a monster destroyed by that battle takes damage equal to their destroyed monster's original attack at the end of the damage step. If your opponent's AtIgnister monster would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Okay, this card seems very good. You're just running over really anything, and then it also has built-in protection like a Return of the Dragon Lords or a Zephyr Providence. Very, very good card, it seems to me. Then we have another quick play here and a field spell. Okay, AtIgnister Reborn. Yeah, TAI Strike or TAI Strike, and then AtIgnister Reborn. Another quick play. So target one AtIgnister monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Okay, we have a built-in monster Reborn as a quick play. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Cyberus monsters. I feel like that won't be a big of a deal. So as far as like everything in the extra deck is Cyberus, so that's not going to be a problem for in archetype things. Except for Cyberus monster. When an attack is declared involving two monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard and one card from your hand, then target one of your AI spell traps that is banished or in your graveyard, except AtIgnister Reborn, add it to your hand. So, okay, this has a graveyard effect as well, being able to recur spells and traps from your grave. You also have to banish a card from your hand. But it looks like this effect doesn't have to be activated. Like, it can be activated the turn ascent, but you just need to be waiting for an attack to be declared. So I can see Foolish Burial Goods possibly being good in this deck. And this card also says, if you're adding a destroy bad, yeah, so it doesn't have to be, that same turn it's sent. So if it comes up mid-combo, you can, like, protect your Ghost Ogre, per se, or, like, from Ghost Ogre or something. That seems pretty cool, actually. So maybe Foolish Burial Goods will have some presence in this deck, I don't know. But let's look at Ignister AI Land. Field spell. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can special summon level 4 or lower AtIgnister monster from your hand. Also, this turn, you can add special summon other monsters with that same original attribute by the effect of Ignister AI Land. You cannot special summon monsters except Cyberse monsters. Even this card leaves the field. Okay. If this card is in your graveyard, banish one AtIgnister monster from your graveyard. Set this card to your field. You can only use this effect of Ignister AI Land once per turn. Banish an AtIgnister monster from your graveyard. Set this card to your field. So if it's just in your grave, you can just reset it by banishing any AtIgnister. That seems very, very good. So yeah, that just seems very, very good because you can. I'm just saying, there's one of these that dump Dispel or Trap to the grave. That would be really, really good. But like Foolish Burial Goods alongside this thing would, get this on the field immediately. That sort of acts like a pseudo terraforming. These are just very simple plays I'm putting together in my head. I would have to see this deck in action to sort of get a better grasp, but I think we're starting to put together the pieces here. Then we have the Earth Golem AtIgnister. So we have Earth, Wind, Light, Dark, Fire, and another Dark. So our water boss monsters in the main deck here. This is one Cyberse monster plus one Link monster. Super Poly, hello. One Link monster, one Cyberse monster. Oh my, after this card is fusion summoned, you take no damage for the rest of the turn. If this card attacks a monster that was special summoned for the extra deck, this card gains attack equal to its original attack during the damage step only. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one Cyberse monster in your graveyard, except itself, special summon it. That seems very, very good. Cyberse are starting to heat up a little bit, it would seem. Then we have Wind Pegasus AtIgnister, a level 7 synchro, one tuner plus one plus non-tuner monsters, my bad. So generic here. During your main phase, you can destroy spell traps your opponent controls up to the number of AtIgnister monsters you control. If another card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card in your grave is on your field or in your graveyard, you can banish this card, then turn out one card your opponent controls, shuffle into the deck. That seems very good and of its own right there. That second effect. I mean, I guess if you were playing a generic level 7 synchro on any deck that you needed a wind, maybe like, what is it? The Speedroid deck, perhaps. This could be a attackable card in there. The first effect you're really not going to get any value out of, but that second effect seems pretty decent. If it's in your grave, you can just banish it and then shuffle any card your opponent controls. It does target, but it does shuffle. It doesn't destroy all of that goodness. Then we have the Light Dragon AtIgnister. 2 level 4 monsters. If a monster or monster you control will be destroyed by a card effect, attach one material from this card instead. You can only use each of the following effects of Light Dragon AtIgnister once per turn. You can attach one material from this card, destroy face-up monster your opponent controls up to the number of AtIgnister monsters you control. So just popping a whole bunch of cards, does not target there, and also has built-in protection. And when another Cyberse monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon one Link monster from your graveyard. That just seems really good. This is one that I think was already revealed, but of course, just no surprise here. This card is insane. Then we have Dark Templar AtIgnister. 3 monsters with different names. So far, so generic. I mean, this card is also generic as well. 2 level 4 monsters. I mean, that second effect is really good. If you just kill something by battle, you can just born Avermax from your graveyard. That seems pretty good. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, even during the damage step, you can special summon as many level 4 or lower AtIgnister monsters from your graveyard as possible. Your zones this card points to, but negate their effects. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon one Cyberse monster from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Dark Templar AtIgnister once per turn. So if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, got 3 arrows, so you can get to revive 2 from your grave for free, essentially, which seems pretty good. Their effects are negated, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. Then we have the Fire Phoenix AtIgnister, another Link 3 with some the Nightmare Unicorn arrow setup, I guess. 2+ Cyberse monsters, again, somewhat generic. This one more so generic than this one, but during damage calculation, if this card attacks, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to this card's attack, and if you do, your opponent takes no battle damage from that battle. If this card is destroyed by card effect, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. During the next standby phase, after this Link summon card was destroyed instead of the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Wow, that seems very good. This archetype seems like it does so many things. It's like covering all sorts of ground. It's pretty crazy, actually. And then the Lingaribo, the angry version of Link Karibo. I love this card. Just its artwork is what really makes it for me. Then it says 1 level 4 or lower Cybers monster, so pretty easy to make in some fashion here. When your opponent activates a trap card quick effect, you can tribute this card, negate the effect, say goodbye to evenly matched and impermanents. Just negate those, no problem. You can tribute 1 AtIgnister monster that was special summoned from, or if it's in your grave, tribute an AtIgnister monster that was special from the extra deck, special summon this card. So it's very similar to Link Karibo, instead of negating attacks, we are negating traps. And instead of reviving itself out of the grave by tributing any level 1, we're tributing any AtIgnister that was special summoned from extra deck. So far, I mean, like, it seems promising. The extra deck pool seems very, very strong. Like, extremely strong. This card seems insane. It's like Fusion of Fire built in. We have a way to search it with the Fire one, I believe, or the Earth one. So, like, it seems pretty promising. I just don't know if this is an archetype that is played on its own, or if there's some room for it to be played with other stuff, like other generic cyber stuff. I don't see why Sign-Up Mining wouldn't be too bad in here, actually. I think Sign-Up Mining would be really good, actually, overall. But let me know what you guys think down in the description below. And, of course, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, don't forget to use my link if you want to support me. Because if you use that link and you shop and check out as normal, I will receive a small portion of your revenue from your purchase. If you want to support me just by shopping through TCG Player normally, use that link. Help support me a lot. Also, check out Imperium Duelist as well for amazing playmats, sleeves, dice, etc. Use that discount code as well just in the description below to help save 10% off your entire order. Support me in the process. Help save you guys a little money. A win-win if you ask me. So, yeah, I appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, guys, I'm going to signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.